I'm making this video for educational purposes only because there's a lot of misinformation out there about circumcision. We tend to think of circumcision as there being skin here and then a hood here that is removed, and that's circumcision. But in reality, this is all just one tube of skin, and it's very loose and elastic, and it's able to move back and forth, exposing the end or covering the end up. What's actually happening when the hood is removed is that if I pull this back, you are cutting the skin here and here, removing that section of skin, and then taking the remaining skin and stretching it up and reattaching it here. What that does is it makes it so the skin is no longer loose and it is not able to slide back and forth as easily depending on the person. There are some benefits to the mechanics of this being able to slide. One of them being is if this entire object is inserted into another object, this causes a natural lubrication, where if there is not enough lubrication around, instead of just going straight in, it will slide like this. So the action that the internal shaft is doing is not the same action that the skin on the outside is doing. So there's no lubrication here, but there is lubrication between the skin and the shaft that will reduce the overall amount of friction. Now, if there is a lot of lubrication on the outside, the whole thing will just move in and out. In some instances, and if this action is already being done and it becomes more dry in there, then the internal shaft will move in and out and that skin won't move at all, reducing all friction. It regulates the amount of uncomfortable friction that there is, no matter how much lubrication is there. Not only does the skin that is removed have a lot of pleasurable nerve endings in it, the area right here, when it is covered up, stays very sensitive, but when it is uncovered all of the time, it loses a lot of its sensation just so that the person can function in everyday life. That means a person that has it removed experiences less sensation entirely. And this area here can become keratinized, which means it can become tough. The skin doesn't stay as soft because it's being rubbed against things all of the time and can actually be kind of scratchy and unpleasant for a person that it might be entering. Now, when it comes to maintenance, assuming that you are a non-gross person and you wash this every day, the only maintenance that is required is that when you wash it, you go like that. That's it. Some people will argue that because intercourse is less pleasurable without the hood, that you will last longer before ejaculation. One study of 42 men found that they gained on average an additional 20 seconds. A more recent study of 373 people found that there was no difference in ejaculation latency time between circumcised and uncircumcised people. The same study found that after the procedure, they had more difficulty during intercourse, more difficulty pleasuring themselves, less satisfaction pleasuring themselves, and overall less satisfaction with their sex life.